Welcome to part 4 of Armchair Chat and Warning, November the 22nd, 2022.
Therefore, God also gave them up to uncleanness in the lust of their hearts, to dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Romans chapter 1 is a description of ungodly, unrighteous, foolish men, and their attempt to rationalize away evidence of the true God. It perfectly describes the writings of Charles Darwin and the evolution lie. The climate change cultists have exchanged the truth.
Darwin and the evolution lie. Yes, evolution is definitely a lie. It certainly is. We were created by God, not by monkeys. We did not come from a monkey. We never came from an ape of any kind. And evolution is something that continues. If it was true, it would be something that would continue. If we evolve once, we're going to continually evolve. Mankind has never evolved again from a monkey. What are we supposed to believe? That we've reached the high plateau? This is it? Bull. Not buying it. Man was created with one purpose, and that is to serve God and to praise the one true God, which is Jesus. And you are failing profusely in doing that. That is why the thing you call climate change and global warming is upon the earth. The end of all things have come before me, so saith the Lord. That's right. This is the end game. Wake up, children of God. Get your lamps trimmed and burning. This is the end game. This is no time to be playing. Get ready to go.
Of God for the lie, and worship and serve the creature rather than the Creator.
That's
These
what you're
foolish men
doing, serving the
deify Mother
creature
Earth for
rather
the
than
sake
the
of
creator.
ecological purity. Climate change is being used to destroy national sovereignty and autonomy in order to bring in a one-world government headed by the Antichrist.
Joe Biden is currently at the summit of world leaders. It's called the G20. But there are other powerful individuals there too. It's supposedly a gathering of world leaders, but there are a lot of people who aren't world leaders in attendance, at least in the traditional democratically elected sense. That would include self-appointed leaders like Microsoft founder Bill Gates.
Democratically elected sense? Oh, man's way of doing things, you mean? Because God's way of doing it was to appoint leaders through the prophets. But over the years, the prophets and the watchers have all subsided. Why? Because they're afraid to speak out. They sit down and put down their authority because they fear what man is going to do to them, rather than what God is going to do. Well, you better get ready because you're about to find out. Well, you're already starting to see some of what God is going to do. But you're about to find out on a major note.
Also, by the way, Klaus Schwab. Who's Klaus Schwab? Well, he's the founder, chairman of the World Economic Forum. And during COVID, Schwab, well, he saw a big opportunity. Here's what he said. He wrote, "There is now a brief opportunity for global leaders to cooperate to achieve a great reset, a step forward to a more resilient, cohesive, equitable, and prosperous world." Klaus Schwab still has not given up on that goal. Yesterday at the G20 in Bali,
Klaus Schwab is not the only one pushing that agenda. The entire beast system is.
Schwab again called for a new world order.
What we have to confront is that
He called for a new world order, and I showed you in the earlier clips that French President Macron also called for a one world government.
deep, systemic, and structural restructuring of our world. And this will take some time. And the world will look differently after we have gone through this transition process. Politically, the driving forces for this political transformation, of course, is the transition into a multipolar world, which has a tendency to make our world much more fragmented.
I know it's been said, but I can't get it out of my mind, and neither can you as we watch. I mean, that's the embodiment of a Bond villain. And look, nobody voted for this guy. So why is he lecturing world leaders about his plan to transform the world? To have us all eat bugs, live in mini houses, own nothing and be happy?
As anyone can plainly see,
They never said anything about eating bugs. Y'all carried things a little too far. They don't want you to eat bugs. They just want you to drop dead. Because they intend to keep their population under 500 million. You keep forgetting that. There's no room in their world for you. That is their new world order. You serve no purpose to them. That's why they continuously lie to you. Remember, seducers wax worse and worse. Evil men and seducers wax worse and worse.
for punishment, for his land, or for mercy. The extreme weather we have been witnessing is clearly punishment.
This morning, thunder snow, spin out, and more than 5.5 feet of snow piling up for a record-breaking storm. Overnight, the Buffalo area's lake-effect snowstorm became the single highest 24-hour snowfall event in New York State history.
This is very concerning because we already got our first report of a building collapse in the town of Hamburg.
Here in Lackawanna, New York, just south of Buffalo, they're moving snow by the truckload. Police say they need to make space here with even more snow on the way.
At least 66 inches reported in Orchard Park, New York, and another 6 to 12 inches of snow could fall in this region by tomorrow.
This storm is record-breaking because of how much snow we've seen and how quickly it has fallen. We needed to see more than 50 inches of snow in under 24 hours, and Orchard Park hit that with time to spare. All of this record-breaking. The last time that record was set was in 1966.
Psalm 107, 33 and 34. He turns rivers into a wild.
1966, and you know they hit 80 inches with 6.6, which was 6.66 feet there in that one section of New York there that they were just speaking about. So keep that in mind.
Through Madagascar's Grand Sud. It's supposed to be the rainy season, but the fields are bone dry. This is the footprint of climate
This is
change.
the rainy season.
1 year of drought is
Told
bad
you
enough,
the drought
but
was
5 in
going
a
to
row
continue.
is near impossible. Fierce hot winds turn the soil to dust. Crops stand no chance.
We've never experienced anything like this. It's a very, very hard situation. There are no seasons anymore. It's just hot, dry, and windy.
In the village of
Hot,
Irada,
dry,
like
and
everywhere,
windy.
it's a struggle for
Fervent
survival.
heat.
Water and how to get it is on everyone's minds. Then suddenly, it appears from nowhere. A water tanker en route for a
Doesn't
far-off
appear from
destination
nowhere.
has stopped. And from its leaking pipes, there's a rare chance. Every can, container and bottle hands can be laid on is filled. Quick, they say, or the cart will go.
If you ever needed a demonstration of just how desperate people are, this is it.
Nearby, amongst fields once filled with maize and sweet potatoes, lies a village waterhole. It's been dry for 2 years.
That's why people are thirsty. They can't do anything about it. There's no cassava, there's no maize. There are no crops at all, and life is very, very difficult. Our daily life in the village is about rain, but right now, there's nothing. We're really suffering.
When crops consistently fail, you take what you can find. Who cares if normally only cattle eat cactus? And boiled up, it fills a gap for a while.
The village is in a very bad situation. No food, no water. That is the biggest issue in this region. We need help to solve this because people are living on cactus. That's all there is.
In the regional capital of Ambuvombe, a woman has brought her 7-month-old daughter to hospital after she became seriously ill with diarrhea and vomiting.
Every day, we eat what we pick up along the road, like red cactus fruits. I'm exhausted and I just can't breastfeed my baby because I'm so hungry. I have no milk in my breast. If there is no food, we just drink water and sleep.
It's not that the food isn't there. In Ambuvombe's market, you wouldn't think times are hard, but these goods are mostly imported into the region, and spiralling prices push them well out of reach of the poor. Hundreds of thousands across Madagascar depend on outside support from the likes of WaterAid and the World Food Programme. Here, the government is delivering fertiliser and seeds to farmers, and they need all the help they can get. But if there's no rain, no amount of fertiliser will help.
Our soil is fertile, but when there's no rain, things like this cassava die. I think in the future, it will be a desert here. I think the next generation will have nothing. They will die.
The UN called the famine here back in 2021 the first famine caused in the world solely by climate change. But a lot of people disagree with that. They say it's down to poor governance and to poverty. The truth, I think, it's a combination of all three. Climate change that's wreaking havoc around the world, causing devastation here in Madagascar. Poverty, 90% of Madagascans live in poverty. And poor governance inside and outside the country.
For the people, though, it's all irrelevant. For them, these times are simply known as kere, the hunger.
We are currently living in a time Jesus refers to as the birth pains. We are fast approaching a time known as the tribulation, that Jesus says will be the worst
time in history. Yep, that's coming.
Well, did you feel it? One of the biggest earthquakes in Texas history was just felt in San Antonio.
We can safely say that San Antonians are not used to feeling earthquakes.
A house trembled in Pecos as a 5.3 magnitude earthquake hit West Texas, the third largest on record for the state. It sent seismic shockwaves about 350 miles away, reaching San Antonio.
I was in a Zoom meeting, which had started at 3:30. I'd only been in the meeting for about 2 or 3 minutes. My seat shook back and forth.
Russell Guerrero thought he was lightheaded, not knowing it was the Moody building that was swaying.
At first, I thought people were just overreacting.
That is, until word started to spread. Michaela Salinas says she spoke with a teacher who was jolted by the tremor.
She just reported that she felt dizzy. And then after that, that's when all the TVs and the monitors just went off and said alert.
Jesus, speaking to his disciples about the signs of his coming.
Speaking on to the disciples in today's time. Are you recognizing the signs of his return? The Pharisees and them, they missed his coming the first time. But it looks to me like even the elect are missing the signs of his coming even this time. No one has been keeping watch. Where were the watchers at that were supposed to be setting up on the wall? Where were the people at that was supposed to be being ready for his return? I don't see them. I don't see them at all. And I have some things to prepare for, so I'm going to go. And I will continue this video and finish out the rest of this in a little while. See you in the next part.
You run into the recruits
Tonight,